Hello again, everybody. This is Sam Maroney, pop culture historian, speaking to you from his office in St. Louis. And I want to talk more about my new book, Sam Maroney, Tripping Through Pop Culture. And I hope you all have a copy of it by now. If not, you can get it from Amazon, or you can also purchase a special signed edition directly from me at www.trippingthroughpopculture.com. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the greatest people in comics there ever was or ever will be, and that is the great artist Jack Kirby. He is one of the architects of the Marvel Universe. His credentials go back to the early 40s, where he created Captain America and a whole other great pantheon of costume characters for Timely Comics, which is what Marvel was called then. But Jack came back to Marvel in the early 60s and was doing a lot of the Bigfoot monster books until Stan Lee decided he was going to take a fling at superheroes. And his first foray into that was Fantastic Four #1, which Jack did the art for. And it's a monumental part of comics history and of the company itself. It was the foundation on which the other popular heroes they created, like Spider-Man and Thor, were based on. And Jack had a hand in them all one way or the other. But Jack had fallen on hard times with Marvel. They had a few disagreements, and Jack decided to leave to go to DC Comics in the early 70s. And they gave Jack complete control over all his characters and all his books, but the magic just wasn't there. The readers really didn't gravitate to what he was doing, and sales were okay on his books, but they were not fantastic. And so Jack decided to come back to Marvel and take over Captain America once again. Now, this was all announced at a special convention that Marvel had in New York in 1975, which was called the Mighty Marvel Comics Convention. And Jack was the guest of honor, and this was, you could actually call this convention KirbyCon, because it was all about Jack. I attended this convention, and I was sitting in the lobby of the Commodore Hotel in downtown Manhattan, and who do I see standing by himself with his hands in his pocket? It's none other than Jack Kirby. And I had seen pictures of Jack from the fan press, and I wanted to have a moment with him. So I got up, I walked over to him, I put out my hand and introduced myself to him, and I like to say I had an intelligent introduction to him, but I was a blubbering mass of jelly. I was just so in awe of him and his great talent. And I just told him how much his work meant to me and how it influenced me to become a writer, and et cetera, et cetera. And he could not have been kinder. He put his hand on my shoulder and nudged me forward. He said, "Come on, kid, let's sit down." So we went to a nearby couch and sat down, and for the next 15 minutes he regaled me with stories from his career and his take on the current comic scene, which he was not too keen on, because I got the standard, "These kids don't know how to write comics today" speech that I hear he gave quite frequently in his later years. But aside from that, I can't tell you too much about the conversation. It was just all a happy blur, and he posed for some pictures of me, which are in this book. You will see them nowhere else but in this book. And it's one of those situations when he walked away that I pinched myself and wondered, did I really have this conversation? Now, the story doesn't end there. After the convention, I came home and I had printed out a bunch of pictures I'd taken to Jack throughout the convention. And I sent them to him at his P.O. box in California. So a couple of weeks later, an envelope arrives in the mail. And inside is a thank you note from Jack and this beautiful drawing of Captain America and Bucky, which he did. And it's dedicated to me, and I absolutely adore this. If there was a fire in my house, this would be the first thing I would grab. But this just to show you what a classy, great guy he was. He thought enough of me to do a drawing just because I sent him a few lousy pictures. So with that, I shall leave you, and you can read all about my encounter with Jack in this book, Tripping Through Pop Culture. Again, it is available on Amazon.com, and also get the signed edition directly from me www.trippingthroughpopculture.com. Peace out.